Anastasia, welcome to Podster, and thanks for passing by. We are at STEP Conference, and we're doing STEP Conference series this year, and we're talking PR for startups, which is very interesting angle for me, because the way I know PR, it's a huge investment. And I want you to break that misconception for me today. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi everyone. First of all, thank you for welcoming me here. My name is Anastasia Golavatenko. I'm PR director at Sherpa Communications. We are business consultants and PR agency here in Dubai. I've been in PR for the last 18 years. First in Europe, then moved here. For the last 10 years, we've been helping clients across different industries. What is kind of shocking and the most important for us is to empower businesses to consider strategic communications as an important asset what they have within the company. And it doesn't mean, as you saw, that it should be an investment. It is for many, but for startups, of course, this is something there they should start from the change of mindset.
That's my question. So, for example, how do you change that mindset from PR being a niche that requires a lot of investments into something that you can really handle either in-house or with a sort of smaller budget? Is it possible at all? Or is it what you're teaching startups to do?
Yeah, so I normally tell the founders of the business, you need to have three people around you: a lawyer, a doctor, and a PR specialist.
Really?
When you meet the startups, of course, this is the guys, they measure what they need to invest into, and very often a startup can be run by one person only. And in that case, we actually, throughout a mentorship session, we teach the founders of the business how they span the communication by themselves, because this is something which you need to do on a daily basis. And the first thing should be start from understanding that you need to invest time into promoting not only your business, but yourself. Very often founders forget about themselves.
And what is your top advice, let's say, on promoting, let's say, the personality of the founder of a business?
That's easy as well. So when I need to do elevator pitch and people tell me like, okay, tell us what PR is all about and how it can help. I said, look, if you want to understand what we do or actually why you need PR in your life, just Google yourself. Google yourself and Google your business. If you're happy with results that you see there, then there is nothing to discuss. If you're not happy with the first page of Google search, this is what we can influence, and this is where the discussion starts.
So, what is your top advice in terms of, setting, format the elevator pitch that allows you to pop up into Google and into all potential channels where you can be found, where you can get exposure? Mm-hmm. So, what are your top tips and tricks? How you can do that with, let's say, a limited budget?
Yeah, so a lot of things businesses already do, but they don't think it's so important, so they do it occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
One of the examples, when you Google yourself or your business, you notice that the first thing that pops in is your website and the social media pages. And then you ask the businesses, how often do you update your social media pages? They're like, oh, maybe they do it occasionally once per month, maybe they forgot about this, and this is where the credibility is lost. Second one, they forget about their personal pages, but LinkedIn profile is something which pops in at the top once you Google yourself. And this is where each single business or person can do it by themselves. Just
Absolutely,
be regular posting on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I think social media has been sort of underestimated as a channel specifically for companies and startups. But it also requires time and dedication. So it's not something that can come on its own. For sure, you need to have, I think, also the right attitude. And I think that's what you mentioned in the beginning. So you said that the most important thing for companies to start their own PR is to change the mindset.
Mm.
And the shift in the mindset, start believing in the social media, start believing in the content. So how would you name that shift?
So look, an easy example, the traditional mindset, let me focus on doing meetings, right? But how many meetings can you do per day or per week? 20 probably. But when you do a podcast, when you do an online article or interview with a magazine, this is where that coverage lasts for you 24/7. So you sleep and it's still online, people listen. And actually podcasts, we noticed that this is something very trendy this year. More and more businesses start appearing in it, and this is where the content they can use on LinkedIn as well. This is quite engaging and it works for your business 24/7. So this is an easy example when instead of like hating those sales meetings, which is still important, you should and must invest the time for one interview per month, and it will help you reach thousands of people.
No, absolutely amazing. So because you've just nailed it about the podcast. I mean, taking into consideration we are a podcast company at Podster, but this is definitely something that helped Podster actually to grow as a business as well. So my next question to you would be, do you see the shift in the mindset? Or does your mentorship help startups to shift from being totally inactive to getting more active? What do you see?
Yeah, that's a good question. So some of the startups founders whom I meet, they normally, for example, they have an understanding of what they want. They come and say this is what the audience, the challenge, and they understand the power of PR. So they come already with an ask. And other ones come with a challenge. And this is where the educational modes switched on, and you explain this is what's happening to your business, and you crack it down for them. So I worked a lot in the question answer mode. And by asking the right questions, you help the entrepreneur see what's the real challenge within his business, and they reach the right conclusion by themselves. So we actually be surprised, but in PR we don't sell at all, but this is where through my mentorship sessions I try to help businesses to see the bigger picture.
And what are the biggest challenges? What prevents startups from getting all over there?
Oh, every time it's a different scenario, so there is no shopping list for either solutions or the problems, so every business like literally different. Some businesses, the challenge, most common one, I have a product or solution, which is fantastic. I launch my business. I have no customers. What can I do with it? And this is where the business founders come to us and say, what's next? Because he is an expert in his field, but it doesn't mean he's the best marketeer or IT specialist. And another problem that happens with the businesses is that the founders try to wear multiple hats, right? You are like accountant, HR, at the same time salesperson. Yeah. And this is where like it gets, of course, overwhelming for them.
Yeah. So, and how do you help them with a piece of advice, or do you sort of help them to build a strategy, or do you help them to build a structure of their sort of PR communications, or how do you help them as a professional and as a company in this case?
So I'm a big believer in positive psychology, first of all. So again, see, I'm talking to you and you're smiling. It gives me like this all positive vibes. And when you were telling me about what you do, I could see how your eyes are shining, and it makes a difference. So same with entrepreneurs. When you tell them you guys on the right track and everything is possible, this is the first change which should happen with them. Second one is that very often people are afraid to start because the problem looks so complex for them, and they might be afraid that I don't know all the answers. But then the role of the mentor is to show the direction and break it down into small little steps, and then they're so excited to start, with the first steps. So the mentorship sessions, even at STEP, we have them either every day or every week, and this is where you have a room to do 1, 2, 3, and then come back to your mentor and say, I'm done with this, what's next? So I normally compare it like going to a gym when you have a fitness trainer.
Yeah.
Your PR mentor is the person to whom you can come back and say, hey, I've done this, what's next? And it's much easier to progress for them this way.
And do you see it becoming more popular, like the mentorship or the service that you're doing? Do you see it is becoming more popular nowadays, or comparing to, let's say, previous years? Do startups get exposure? Do they want to get out there? Do they want to learn how to do it in the house?
Yeah, definitely. So look, we have a lot of fantastic incubators here as a great example. In5, Shera, Hub71. So all these guys help startups to be on track and progress faster. So every time when I think about our company, I'm like, I wish I knew this, because when you don't have a support system around you, it's much harder to start and progress without making costly mistakes. So I think startups very lucky because they got lots of mentorship and support through the way, and they just need to be open-minded and say yes to every opportunity around them.
No, for sure, and I think the number of startups has increased so much in Dubai, which is I think it's definitely a great trend. Dubai is all about innovation, and it's great for them to have also an ecosystem of people like you who are able to help them with the necessary and timely piece of advice, and specifically about PR, marketing and things like that, because I think that's exactly the area that normally is left behind because you've got so many things to take care of. So I'd like to ask you probably, what would be your three main recommendations, let's say, for startups who would like to address the topic of PR and content. And let's link these recommendations to 2023, because we're living in an era that is, changing a lot, right? So we need to take into consideration new factors. So what would be your three top advices, so that we could make it absolutely useful for people who listen to that?
Yeah, I would probably share recommendations for this market because they're going to be different compared to other markets. This market is like each of us spend around 8 to 10 hours online in the internet. So this market is all like in Google. That's why I keep telling make sure that your business present online. Same for you. And the first advice would be, if you're launching your business, make sure you have the website and social media actively running. Second advice, I normally tell the guys look into digital marketing. This is something that, because very often they come and say, I need PR. I'm like, let's chat, because maybe you don't need PR at this stage. You need digital marketing at this stage. And maybe based on your business concept, you need the sales strategy in place. It always depends on that. So again, as you said before this chat, that it's important to sit down and refine a bespoke strategy for each single business. But I would say just be open-minded. Don't try to execute everything by yourself. There are lots of great people, experts in this market who do mentorship, free sessions, and support system around you. So if you just look for this type of opportunities, you can surround yourself with the right people who will help you scale up much faster.
And what do you see as your mission? Your mission as a professional, made by your company's mission? Maybe they merged, I don't know. What do you see as a mission?
Look, my personal mission is to become the best version of myself by the end of my life. So that's why you'll see my keep enrolling into different master classes and the programs, which is scale me up as a good specialist. But what we're very passionate about, what we do at Sherpa Communications, is we just don't want to come to office and do work. So you can see us supporting lots of community groups. We are mentors in many incubators. We contribute lots of hours to different projects, and we have lots of CSR projects. This is something which make a difference. You want to come to office and understand that you make a change today to someone's life and someone's business.
Amazing. Anastasia, it's been a pleasure for me to interview you today at the STEP conference, and I hope we meet again at our new studio at Podster and have a bigger conversation about PR and startups and your experience in Dubai. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much. Yes, bye-bye.